Throughout history, empires that maintain their powers have done so by manipulating the oppressed. They go out of their ways to make sure that the oppressed are perpetually misled and manipulated. Today, this heinous practice still continues. It's what's presently being done to the black population by the white society. White oppressive forces exploit their monopoly over information that we receive by systematically feeding lots of disinformation into the collective minds of the black population in regards to our plight and condition. When everything believed by the black population are lies that impedes our liberation, white oppressive forces are winning. The following is a quote from a 1832 speech presented before the founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and Abraham Lincoln, by Henry Berry, a member of the Virginia House of Delegates. Henry Berry said, "We have, as far as possible, closed every avenue by which the light of truth may enter the minds of the Negro. If we could extinguish their capacity to see any light of truth, our work will be complete. They will then be on the level of the beasts of the field, and we should be safe. And we can then rule over them forever." The white society don't want us ever gaining any truth. They don't want us gain a true, clear understanding of what has been done to us. Because they know that if we learn the truth, that we will then be able to develop the proper counter strategies that are necessary in order to truly liberate ourselves. Preventing us from gaining an accurate understanding of our plight and condition is why white oppressive forces have spread so much disinformation into the minds of the black population. The African American population is drowning in disinformation, and it's by deliberate design. The ultimate goal is to spread so much disinformation into our communities until virtually everything that we believe are lies that prevents our ability to unify ourselves in the interest of liberating ourselves. The worst condition of the oppressed is not an ignorant mind. It's actually an ignorant mind that has been given false knowledge. Because an ignorant person might continue to search for the liberating truth. But a person possessing false knowledge, believing that it's true, stops searching for the truth, and therefore becomes mentally enslaved by the false knowledge. Our people must therefore be taught how to tell the difference between true knowledge and false knowledge. False knowledge makes a people stagnant and complacent. They do nothing towards their liberation. Like, for example, like how believing in Jesus makes black people complacently wait for Jesus to come and return to save us from white oppression. Here's how true knowledge affects a people differently. True knowledge expands your mindset to a greater radius. It gives you a greater awareness and understanding of your plight and condition. An understanding that leads you to develop the proper counter strategies that are necessary in order to truly liberate yourself. And a mind once expanded by knowledge to a greater radius never returns to its original smaller size because the truth won't allow it to. These differences are the reasons why false knowledge are endorsed and promoted by the oppressors, and true knowledge is banned and blocked whenever it's posted on social media outlets. White oppressive forces have spread so much false knowledge into our communities. They literally have we African Americans drowning in disinformation. The following are 6 false knowledge that are presently commonly believed by millions of African Americans. 1, that we African Americans are not actually from Africa, but are instead the true indigenous Americans. 2, that we African Americans are the true Hebrews. 3, that Jesus will return and save us. 4, that the Bible that was brutally beaten into the minds of our ancestors will now set us free. 5, that we African Americans made the N-word ours and that using it now ridiculously empowers us. These are 6, that we're being controlled by a silly slave syndrome myth. All of these beliefs are false knowledge that are endorsed by our oppressors. You can post about them all day long. They'll never block you for doing so. These knowledge are false knowledge. That's why they're rarely blocked. That's why they don't impede our ability to share this knowledge. They want us believing in falsehoods. They do this because those falsehoods keeps our understandings flawed in regards to our plight and condition, therefore keeping all of our remedies and our strategies flawed to the benefit of the system of white supremacy. This is why those of us who know the truth of our plight and condition must teach African proverb. I would rather lose black friends for telling the black liberating truth than to endorse falsehoods in order to appease and to hold on to mentally enslaved and ignorant black friends that refuse to critically think and research facts for themselves. In the age of information, black ignorance and black mental enslavement is now a choice. Our plight has nothing to do with a Bible that strongly condones slavery, written by immoral Romans that routinely engaged in massive orgies and debt sports, and that was brutally beaten into the minds of our enslaved ancestors by their ungodly enslavers and colonizers that also raped, maimed, and murdered them. That's a ridiculous belief to say that's the true words of God. These noted facts totally disqualifies the Bible from being the true words of God. Our people are so confused and so lost under the system of white supremacy that now stating facts now literally offends millions. Our condition has nothing to do with a silly slave syndrome myth, which presents what would in fact be the least effective method used for controlling generations of people. That premise is not even how true brainwashing is achieved. True brainwashing requires a system that's being constantly reapplied upon the collective minds of the targeted population in order to remain effective. If not, its effectiveness would lessen with each new generation and not worsen as we witnessed. The fact that we African Americans are now more self-hating and divided today than at any previous time in history is proof that our present collective mindset has nothing to do with slavery. If our present collective mindset was truly connected to slavery, our condition would have lessened with each new generation as we move further away from the era of slavery. This isn't the case because our condition has nothing to do with slavery. We African Americans did not make the N-word ours, and using it does not empower us. We were actually socialized by white oppressive forces to call ourselves niggers through the hidden science known as negative media social engineering. They began the programming through those black exploitation films beginning during the 1960s, and it's continued through the white-controlled hip-hop industry. And calling ourselves niggers actually psychologically conditions us to perceive ourselves through a false, inherent subordinate identity that aids the white society in maintaining its social dominance over us. We African Americans are not the indigenous Americans, but are instead, in fact, from Africa. This has been scientifically confirmed by millions of DNA analysis proving that we are indeed from Africa. Furthermore, none of the skeleton remains found of early Native Americans matches our DNA. We African Americans are in fact from Africa. Millions of African Americans have had DNA testing that confirm our African lineage. The genealogical findings reveal that African Americans on the average, our genetic makeup on the average is 80% African, 19% European, and just 0.8% Native Americans. When we African Americans divide ourselves from Native Africans by claiming that we're not Africans, we are forfeiting all hopes of defeating white global supremacy. To renounce our associative power as Africans is to forfeit our ownership over territory or our numerical advantage and our history. We African Americans, we must stop being easy victims of the white oppressors' fraudulent divide and conquer propaganda campaigns. We should also never accept an ideology that divides us from Africans to the benefit of global white supremacy. And when we African Americans claim the history of Native Americans as being ours, this is no different than when white historians claim the history of Africa's ancient Egyptians as being theirs. It's wrong when Caucasians claim our history as theirs, and it's also wrong when we claim the history of Native Americans as ours. Our core problem is that the ignorant ones are overconfident and the intelligent ones are filled with doubt. This fact allows the false belief held by the ignorant ones to prevail throughout our communities, keeping our people mentally enslaved. It is time to elevate our minds. We must function based upon what is true. To learn the truth of our plight and condition, to learn more, you can visit my webpage at www.theblackpeoplesmatrix.com. Visit it before they shut it down. It's time to wake up to our reality.